Kenny, do you play at all?
I do, but not as much. I mean, I don't have a table, but them shit's expensive, dude.
Hey, Golightly don't have no table either, but you see how confident he is.
Yeah.
I played for 3 months straight, man. I got everything I need.
That is crazy. You played for 3 months straight? Yeah, no, I think towards the end of that year is the time because I was able to like go anywhere else or I had more time or do it a rip or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, like now I can kind of relax per se. So it's probably like 2 weeks in to me getting re-warmed up and just happened to go to like a tournament or something like that. Somebody invited me to a tournament. And they all thought the exact same thing. They was all like, oh yeah, we've never seen you on the table and we've watched you for a whole year. Like come in here and not play at all. Won the tournament. People were so mad.
I was just like, hey, this is a competitive guy.
Yo,
I ain't seen him play no ping pong.
Exactly.
And then I put two together after was like, oh yeah, but
it's a trap. Like hey, you trapped yourself. You played yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they legit had a tournament that everyone signed up for. I had beat, whoever they thought the top person was in the room, which they're like, oh yeah, this person's gonna win. And then they started calling people who weren't in the room to come and play me that were like the top from like the base. They were like, yo, like we need to call.
It was like, oh man, I don't play that much. And he was like, hey, bring me Lucille. Bring out a secret weapon. And, he got a ping pong paddle in a duffel bag.
No, that's a crazy thing too. I don't know about you, but like everyone that I encountered out there, they were ordering paddles and stuff like that.
Yeah, my senior admin, he pulled up with an envelope that says secret on it.
Are you serious? Yeah, they were ordering paddles and like they only play with their paddles. And I pull up, with the little rubber thing coming out the paddle. Yeah. My cell phone, depending on who the person was.
Your cell phone. Don't do them like that.
No, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I was playing this other dude too, man, and I was pretty confident. And I felt like I was doing good. I felt like I was giving him a run for his money. And my man checks his watch. I was like, hey, you check the time with you? It's a competition, man. Sorry, I'm boring you. Like, I got another 20 minutes. I got a hard stop. What? Hey. Knew I was giving him a hard time, man.
All right, let's get into it. I want to rehash the conversation that we had last week on excellence and just kind of start off the jump with that. And then I got some things I want to get into later on. But we finished off on is excellence subjective? Does anybody want to recant on their answer now that you're not on the spot? Anybody want to take back what they said? They want to give a little bit more context. Anybody take any thought on that? I'm supposed to answer on my.
This isn't where I thought you were going to start. I thought we were going to start with the Kanye.
Yeah, I thought about starting with Kanye, but I'm not even sure if that's worth it, man. Like, hey, if you want to jump into Kanye, you can.
No. I'm trying to remember what I said last week, but I'm pretty sure whatever I said, I'll stand by it.
I think I agree with it as well. I think I said this.
I think it is still. Yeah, I still think excellence is still subjective. I think there's definitely some shared guidelines around like what commonly is excellence, but I think everyone has different goals in mind, right? It's like what works for you doesn't work for me, like, and what works for Los doesn't work for you. It's like, so what I think, but there are still common themes across what's excellent for all of us.
So I wish I would have said something last week because I would have erred more so on the side that excellence is not subjective.
Can you elaborate?
Since I had a little bit more time. So before it was like excellence clearly has a bar, no matter who you are, where you are. Like people look at, hey, this person is the bar. You have the best person at work. You have the person that's happy in their relationship. It doesn't even have to be the best relationship, but it's like literally like happiness is excellence. Driving a car, your car has no dents in it. That's excellence. Like that's what I looked at before. But then if we go back, like there's a quote that like I kind of like went back to over and over again in my head, and it's success, but success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And like what that means is like success is subjective based on your goals that are still changing or your worthy ideal that's still changing. So your relationship, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like your relationship is the worthy ideal, but your relationship is never like the same all the time.
Of course.
Kenny, you might be able to speak to this, but like when you get married, it's like what you wanted in that first year of marriage probably changed after 5 years of marriage. Like that goal is like, all right, like it's changed. It's grown now. Not that it's a bad thing, but like we naturally grow. The car that we wanted when we were a kid, it's like, no, actually, that's not gonna make me happy.
So
Like,
would you say excellence and success necessarily isn't subjective, but it's more contextual?
ooh, yeah, I think I can
Because
agree with that. Yeah,
so, but then that bit, like, I mean, what's the difference between subjective and contextual? Because
it's the same. I would say
it's
it's the same.
similar. I
Yeah.
think maybe contextual is a better word for it, right? Because
Okay.
it kind of like what you're saying, we change with our with the circumstances we're given. Like everything's not going to be the same all the time. So I think I like that phrasing better, actually.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
So
I see your point now.
yeah, it's not. I mean, because like I think there still is that bar, but the bar
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
moves.
and
Is
that's
it
kind
keeps
of similar to
moving.
what he's saying too, though. Like, Kenny, I feel like you were saying there's like a framework versus the personalization of everybody's different,
Hmm.
excellence. But yeah, I definitely agree.
Because like everyone, I mean, there, there's common goals, right? Everyone sets goals like I want to lose this, I want to look like this, I want to
Mhm.
make this much money, I want to, I want to have this or I want to be like this. And then how they get there, it's up to them. But then
Mm,
once they get closer to that, maybe their goals will probably shift, right? Because
Yeah,
once you start getting closer to your goal, you start looking past it.
yeah. So I'm about to get in trouble for what I'm about to say, but I'm just gonna go ahead and air it out. Okay.
mm,
All right.
So number one, I'm gonna start on the light side. There's certain people that I've met. I don't want to live in like an LA or a New York or big city, Chicago. Like I have no interest in living in the mecca of a big city in a skyscraper. I don't think I ever will, no matter how much money I make. To some people, that is excellence or success. Like that is the bar. It's like, hey, I'm able to live in this environment. I have friends that, I'm going to call out a city, Marion, Indiana, where I went to, where I went to college. And I'm not talking about people who grew up there or lived there as adults. I'm talking about like college friends who moved from Northern Indiana. You might know some, Kenny, but moved from Northern Indiana and like, oh yeah, like Marion is my place to stop. And to me, I
Mm,
always like that always perplexed me. Marion, Indiana is like super small town.
yeah.
You get the hometown feel, like it's a great place to be. I just always found it weird that like people go there for college and then they also want to stay past that. Like there's a
mm,
difference between like,
Mm,
hey, this is my hometown that I grew up in, and then this is like a place where I went to college. Like typically people go to places like college to explore something new
hmm.
and then they move on from that. Not like
Yeah.
it's not like a Bloomington. It's
mm,
not
Yeah.
even like a South Bend, Indiana, where Notre Dame is. It's like, oh yeah, like this is
It's a small town.
it's still a
right.
super small town.
And
And
some
to
people
me,
like it.
yeah, right. But to me, that's not either success or excellence. Again, I want to make a caveat because I have
Mm,
families there
Mm,
that have lived there, raised kids there. Like, you've built your family here. But I'm talking about kids that are like 21 years old. They're like,
yeah.
yo, I
mm,
want to start my career in this small town. I don't even
mm,
have a wife or a husband, but I want to start my career, my life in this small town.
But what if
mm.
they work? So like, what if someone lives there but they work remote?
That's not the case.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
but
Like,
but
are they working for the school? Like, what are they working for?
Um, I think it's like a random shop, like
Okay.
most
Mm,
of them,
yeah.
it's like so like
Yeah.
yeah, I think a school system play, like to me, and I hate to like put a label on this, but that's what I'm doing. But like if you're hey, I really want to work in the school system here, that makes
Mhm.
sense. I know a guy who grew up there, he's an entrepreneur, like really successful in my eyes. Maybe you try to get him on here one day, like really successful in my eyes. Grew up in Marion, and he's still in Marion. To me, it makes sense because number one, he grew up there. Number two, his impact that he's having is specifically for that city.
Hmm.
And
Um,
that's what I was gonna ask you though. From a lens of like you grow up, or better yet, you grow and you start to exceed like your surroundings. Are you looking at it from that lens? Because I was gonna
yes.
say, what if I'm growing and I'm excelling, but I'm also looking for something, and it just so happened to reside in Marion, or in somewhere where I just so happen to start off, to where it's like, okay, there's no need in me doing circles around if everything that I'm looking for is right
Yep.
here. Like,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
example, Haralson County, Georgia, that little small town that I lived in for a while, a lot of people still there, but at the same time, I think It's really quiet, small town, not too much trouble. You can go visit Atlanta if you want to, but you can leave the party in Atlanta and go back home to peace and quiet. So no, just some traits of like things that people may look for. So maybe it just so happened to be things that they look for, and it just so happened to be where they took off from. So I think that's kind of what I think of when I hear that. And I'm curious to hear how it's different though, for the two that you explained.
Yeah. So it perplexes me. Like, I don't understand it. But what I do know is both of those people are extremely happy.
Yeah. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, like, you have to respect it, right? I have friends, the same thing. I have close childhood friends, that I grew up with that are still in Northern Indiana. They didn't move far from home.
Yeah.
They didn't stray much. But like, they're happy. They live a good life. Yeah. And so I think, I don't know. I think it's weird. Okay, this might be a hot take, but I think that our society likes to look at like project our own issues and our own views onto other people, right? It's like kind of like, so this is a good question for you too. Like this is our view of excellence, right? Like we want to stretch ourselves, we want to grow, we want to be somewhere else, but what works for us, again, is it fair for us to look at someone else's life if they're happy and be like, you're not, are you choosing excellence?
Right. Yes. And that's where I'm conflicted, because
that's where
I know that's not right.
Like gonna catch some heat for it.
Yeah.
No, I know it's not right.
I exactly, but I think it's like a natural reaction though, because I do it too. And I don't do it in like a malicious way. Like, I'm not trying to be like a pretentious prick, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just me trying to understand, like, because like I know if I was in that position with my current mindset, like I wouldn't be happy.
Yes. So I want to take this to another level, and this is where I'm going to get in trouble. What I've said before, nobody's going to care. Okay.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
This is where I'm going to get in trouble, because I do the same thing when it comes to fitness. And I think a lot of people do, but it's hard for them to vocalize and like own up to it. For example, the body positivity thing right now, we can say someone is large or we can say someone is skinny. Both parties,
we've talked about this,
can be anti that, and which one is right. Because from my lens, I'm talking about your health, not just your physical makeup. But which one is excellence? Because I know a lot of people who are the opposite body type of myself, and they see themselves as, hey, I am living out my excellence.
I want to add on to this, and would you also, like, with the whole body positive movement, like Lizzo, right? Like,
it's a great example. I guess we can talk about Lizzo. That's like one of the first people I think of.
Yeah, and it's like a celebrity who we can put on blast because we don't know them personally. But they're promoting body positivity, and they're like the poster child for it right now. But there's other celebrities who, like Adele. Adele has gone through crazy image change.
Thank you.
And there's like there's actresses like Rebel Wilson, who was the one in Pitch Perfect, and then like Meghan Trainor, I think, lost some weight too. But it's just like my confliction with this, because I agree with you. I'll get some heat for this too, because I agree with you. It's unhealthy. But my confliction with this is like, what's the word for it? Like body dysmorphia? Like everyone's like unhappy with something about themselves, and I think that's also unhealthy, as well as being physically unhealthy.
Right.
And that kind of further escalates it. It's like, I don't know, like, what's the medium here? What's the happy balance?
Right. So I think that number one, being okay with who you are is the most important thing. But what I've started to tell people, because I actually mean it and I've never figured out a way to articulate it, I feel like we just make it too complicated. Like, I want you to be the healthiest person of yourself. That's it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I do this and I know you probably don't like it. Yo, I just want you to be healthy. And that, I feel like that kind of cancels out any kind of caveat that person wants to project even onto me.
Okay. I get that.
Back off of that. I think I wouldn't say, and of course, this is what we would want as friends and people that care for other people. I would say that, I want you to be your healthiest, but at the very least, I would ask you to be healthy. You know what I mean? There's a balance between
to care.
Now I can't sit here and say, I care about you, love you so much, and then I ignore the fact that, you have life-threatening circumstances or something like that. So as long as there is a balance between your happiness and health, at least consider your health for me. you know,
I
and then
think that they go together. And that's what I'm like. It's hard to hit me hard in the
yeah,
heart. It's because I think they have to go together.
yeah,
People who aren't happy
mm-hmm,
also aren't healthy. Whether you go
mm,
from a
Yeah,
physical standpoint of stress or your mental standpoint, it's
mm,
affecting you. But I think a lot of
absolutely.
times because of the complexities that we put on everything, now we're
right,
trying to push one to the side.
Mhm.
Let me eat whatever I want because my mental needs it. Oh, let
Yeah,
me work out as much as I possibly can because my physical needs it. But one of those is conflicting.
right,
yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, I think it's like I agree. I think we make it too complicated. And we talked about exercise last cast about like you need to find what motivates you and what makes you happy to keep
Mhm.
doing it. But I will say like gym culture is toxic, man. I'm a skinny dude, but like I can put up some weight, but I
yeah.
still get people coming out to me like, "Hey
That's why I
man,
don't go to
you're
the gym with them busters that go to the
like if I go to the gym
yeah.
and then like I'm lifting and then some guy will come up and be like, I hate, absolutely detest gym bro, like gym tips. Like
Yeah,
unless I'm asking for help or asking for
right.
something, don't come up and give me unwarranted advice.
Yeah, man's come up and grab the bar from you. No, man, you got to roll your shoulders. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
exactly.
I
Like
remember my first day in the gym.
yeah.
No,
Well
man.
that
And to your point though, like gym culture, bro, is like it's so as of right now, like you said, it's toxic, man. You got a lot of great leaders and enthusiasts out there, but there's a lot of people who look great, but they are not
Mhm.
doing
Mm.
so well as far as health goes.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
know some people that look amazing, but they're taking supplements and
Hmm.
restricting their diet so much that like they're more of a high risk than other people that don't
Yep.
even go to the gym very much. They
Yep.
aren't so active, So you
Yeah.
Yep.
got some people that
What
pound 2 and 3 scoops of pre-workout and then
yeah, dude.
go work at a warehouse all day and they're chugging monsters and Mountain Dew, you
Hmm.
name it, man. So like they
Yeah,
look
but
great, but that's
they
not
look
really
ripped.
a testament to like how healthy they are.
Exactly. And their body will start breaking down. It's like I'm a big proponent of like everything in moderation, but I don't know, it takes time to get to like that mentality, I guess. But like for me, like when I go to the gym and I see people, I'm happy you're there.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you. Like
Yep.
I won't say it, but like I'll give you a nod. And you have my respect. If anyone's there like to make themselves a better person, fuck it. Hats off
mm,
to you.
yeah,
Yep.
Like
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I have a friend that was just talking to about this, but
Mm,
they don't like to run on the side of the road, which I think is a lot of people, not just for
yeah.
knees, because I get like,
yeah,
Yeah, shit's
concrete
scary
in the
though.
knees is just not a good idea. I'm even
yeah.
starting to feel it. But more so like I don't want other people to see me struggle. I don't want
Oh,
to be
really?
on the
That's weird.
side of the road and people are
I can
looking at
kind of see
me
that
and
too.
I can see that too.
It's
and
like you're outside of Narnia. Like while you're at the gym, everybody there, to your point, everybody's got the same lens on. Everybody's here for,
uh
then it's like you're that one person while
okay.
everybody else is focused on their day to day,
Mm,
dropping off the kids, going to the club, bar crawl, you name it. And then there's this one person running down the street. So sometimes it's kind of like everybody
Mm,
looks over like, man, this guy think he's better than us,
okay.
versus people that are all collectively in one place to focus on personal
Yeah.
development and achieving goals. And then you're like that one person outside of the gym or something.
That's
So
another
interesting.
podcast.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's another take, man.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting take though, Leo, because like I'm like I don't like biking on the road or running on the side of the road. I don't want to get hit. Like I don't trust no one in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely
um,
work on the knees too, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad on the knees. I gotta stop. But no, I like look at to me, I get in a tunnel no matter what I'm doing. It's like, hey, if I want to do something, then it's
Yeah.
just I'm more than willing to embarrass myself pretty much with whatever it is.
Yeah.
One day
Not
But
I'll turn
embarrassing,
that
man. Not
around.
but I think that that's a good point though, going back to like the gym. Like people, especially if you're new, it's intimidating.
Hmm.
You don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. Even though like everyone who's in there probably isn't paying attention to you, like you feel like eyes are on you. But
Yes,
no one cares.
man. Did y'all have like that? I feel like everybody did, man. Maybe y'all don't want to admit it. I think everybody had one of those times where you go to the gym for the first time and you use some equipment wrong, or you just lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
that Kevin Hart stand-up that he did, man, when he was talking about like going to the gym for the first time,
Oh,
putting his face on the seat because he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have one of those experiences, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, you definitely feel like as you walk in, you're like, all right, cool. Everybody else has been in here for a while. It looked like they've been doing this for a long time. I'm the oddball here, so let me do the best that I can to not look like it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Definitely feel that.
I feel odd because all right, so number one, like I don't really go to the gym. like I'm a big advocate of like no gym. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
because I want my own space, if I don't just like using weights. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's to drive. Like I can literally walk outside of my house and do a workout. Same thing. I don't know. But I don't like going to the gym, and I do feel like an oddball out, even though I'm into fitness. Like I feel like
Mhm.
an oddball out going to the gym. Kenny,
Yeah.
I'm interested in hearing your perspective. I don't know if you go to the gym a lot. I know Los does go to the gym a decent amount, so
Mhm.
I'm interested to hear like both of y'all contrasting perspective on like,
I I do go quite a bit. Like I try to go like my like I try to do like five-ish days like a
Mm.
week.
Yeah.
Like I try to go in the mornings when there's like not as many people there.
Mm.
For me, like I'm a big person. Like I like the gym personally. Like, so I like lifting weights. Like I like free weights. I have adjustable dumbbells in my house. So like if I'm super lazy, I'll just go to in my little workout room and do a workout there. But like I like going to the gym. I like being able to use a bar and other like machines. But I don't like dealing with people.
Mm.
I don't it's not that much of a hassle to like adjust my routine if someone is using something that I need, but I'm just kind of like it I'm in a, like you're I'm in the zone. Like I have
mm,
headphones in, I'm listening, and I'm just like I'm on my grind. And then like I just don't care about anyone around me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do it's like meditation, right?
Mhm.
It's therapeutic.
It really is, man. And I think I'm like the exact opposite. Like I was telling you about this a while ago, Leo, but this recently, maybe in the past year or two, changed. Like my whole view on going to the gym changed. But like I originally was like you, I like going super early, or I like going when like I can literally just, I can go from one set to another, one piece of equipment to another, no issues, no, that was me. But now like I enjoy a high traffic gym. I do. And I think it comes from like a competitive spur to where I'm like, all right, cool. Like The Rock has this brand and whatnot of like being the hardest worker in the room, and
Yeah.
everybody's going for it. Everybody wants that title. It's just like a day-to-day thing to where I like having someone to keep me to pace you.
Yeah. So
So like
you're feeding off the energy
I'm
around
feeding off
you.
of the energy and the competition in the room. I'm like, whoa, my man just did a drop set. Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah. See,
So
I like that, but
yeah, and that recently just kind of dawned on me where I'm like, I would originally see how many cars were there, but like, yeah, I'll come back later.
yeah.
Like, because I passed the gym on the way home, so like it's like I could go right now, or I could wait till it get a little dark out. I'm an evening workout type of guy right now, man, because I gotta leave it all on the table.
Mhm.
I like to work out to the where the point I'm done. It's like, all right, cool. Like I'm about to go eat, go to sleep. Like
Yeah.
I got that way to where I'm like really grinding it out, giving like 90%, 100%, and then I got to work after that. So like the whole day, 2 o'clock hits you like Chung Lee. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
It's
get
bad, man.
that's what I'm trying. That's a good point. I do like that. I think it's maybe this is kind of funny because there's like the stark contrast in both of our like approaches. Um yeah, I don't know. Maybe my view will change in a year or two if I get bigger. But I mean I always just go with a pump cover on, I throw a hoodie
Yeah,
on because I'm not trying to impress anyone.
humble, man. And if
Pump
your
cover.
view does change, I don't think there's anything wrong with it either.
Yeah, like I'm just there. I'm just there to do work, and like I think it'd be cool. Like I would love to meet people there, right? Like
Yeah.
because who have a shared, you have a shared interest, a shared passion in being fit and lifting weights. Like fuck yeah, I'd love to be able to talk to more people about that. But
Yeah. And not to, I'm a kick it over to Leo, but you just said that and that reminded me that also changed. I used to be like a go to the gym, locked in, not talking to nobody, like, and I think I still have the same work ethic and get the same amount of, reps in before I leave, but definitely have turned into a bit more of a social gym go.
because
Like I was
it's
telling
a
y'all, we went out to Dallas. I went out to Dallas. First thing I wanted to do in Dallas was go to the gym. Because like you just said, I'm like, I want to meet some people for one
Community.
that
yeah,
I want to go to the
community.
community where I know where everybody is on the same page. Everybody's in here grinding. And then you on top of that, you never know who you're talking to, like just
Hmm.
casually. Oh yeah, what do you do, man? Oh man, I'm just an SVP over this little corporation, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just in here, same time
Yeah.
as you every day. There's just like no matter what walk of life you come from, we all got
Yeah,
a goal in common.
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm a spin off of that in a second, but Los bumped into some big wig out there in Dallas. I think he like runs the Mavericks. Have you
Maybe the
heard of them
Mavs, something
before?
like, yeah, man. You want me to get into that?
Kenny, have you
I,
heard of the Mavericks at all?
You met Mark Cuban?
I met Mark Cuban, man. I won't
Oh
say
my
I met Mark
God.
Cuban, but I bumped into
You
him for
bumped into him, dude. That's
yeah, I
crazy.
bumped into him. I visited a gym out in Dallas, and it's the same gym that I go to, still the same commercial line. So I'm like, hey,
Okay.
can you just give me a quick tour around the building? I know the equipment, everything. I just don't know the layout. So the dude, the sales guy, or whatever, real cool. You know, it's like, yeah, man, it's not. This is first of all, the gym was on a 7-story building, and it was at the top, so it was different. Dallas,
Yeah.
so so I'm like, all right, cool. He gave me a walk around. Yeah, everything is. There's a layout, locker room, weight section over there, treadmills in the back, you name it. And he's like, yeah, it's not uncommon though for like celebrities and stuff to come in here. He's like, matter of fact, I think Mark was around here somewhere. And I'm like, Mark. He was like, Mark
Yeah, who's
Cuban.
Mark?
I was like, oh, okay. And I just kind of played it off. I kind of, I'm nobody to fanboy anyway, but I think honestly, once he said that, he started to look for him as he was giving me the
Yeah.
tour. You know what I mean? So like we were wrapping up and he took me to the locker room finally so I could drop my bags off and whatnot. He's like, yeah, man, and here you go. You need anything, let me know. Oh, there's Mark. What's going on, Mark? And then Mark Cuban just looks over like, oh, what's up, man? Just by himself, just chilling on the phone. But there was a bunch of people in the locker room and everybody else was chill about it. So I'm like, I ain't about to be that guy, like, oh my God, you know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? But it was
Yeah.
just like I had to call Leo. I'm like, Leo, bro, I just met Mark Cuban. He was like, no, you didn't, bro.
Dude, that's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're right though.
yeah,
Everyone's equal.
yeah, 100%. And like like I said, different walks of life. Everybody's there. He had one goal in mind.
Yeah.
Um, I just found that crazy. Honestly, I still don't know very much about Mark Cuban other than his success, of course. But I told my younger brother, and it shocked me how much he knew about Mark Cuban. He started naming off numbers and
That's
organizations he's a part
crazy.
of and nonprofit. I was like, bro, I
Yeah.
didn't even know you got into that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
I'm
That,
pretty
that
sure
gave me,
he went to IU, I'm
He
pretty
went to
sure.
IU, yeah.
yeah,
You can tell
yeah.
too. He's
That's the
still
first thing he
partying.
said. You like Mark? Yeah, you don't know who Mark Cuban is? I'm like, hey, bad man.
Hold
Y'all
on a
about to y'all about
second.
to take my Indy card away, man. I gotta
Oh my
move it back
goodness.
to Atlanta, man. That's crazy.
Pretty much.
That
But
gave that gave me a good impression on Dallas for sure, though, man.
that's awesome. It's not quite related, but like I noticed a lot of similarities too with like we don't have to go deep into this because this topic I think is pretty controversial. But like religion, I think a lot of people go into religion for the community aspect of it as well.
Agreed.
Okay. Yeah.
100%.
That could be a topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you spot on though, man. Spot
No,
on.
it makes sense. That's interesting. I definitely want to talk about that. Something that we've kind of been like floating around that I want to talk about. Um, like you guys might know this, might not, but the whole peace thing started off of like the second half, which was like cherish everyone.
Mm.
So I want to ask y'all, like, how can we as people, like Mark Cuban, yeah, like most people are gonna Mark Cuban, great guy, make all this
mhm.
money, definition of excellence, success, blah 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 blah. But like,
Mm-hmm.
how can we as people cherish everyone, no matter how high or how low they are? Like, if you look back in history, like look at all the different marginalized groups, and like almost everybody has had their time. Like right now, mental health is extremely popular. Before that, like LGBTQ rights, and I'm not even saying that we've overcome any of these. You go into Asian hate crimes and Black Lives Matter, civil rights movement, women's equality, Native Americans. Like we can go into so many topics, groups of people that have been marginalized over time that have had like peaks of like I want to call it awareness.
Yeah.
But like
Right.
part of this was started because like from my purview, and we all got our things, unfortunately, where it's like, hey, this is the lens that I can look out of. I'm a black African American male who's in the military, who goes to this kind of neighborhood or whatever. So I got these different groups that I cared about. So like me, military vets was one that was important to me. Underserved youth in places like Gary, Indiana or Indianapolis, Indiana was super important to me. Athletes were important. So like that's what I was doing, the
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit before. But like, what do you all think that we can do, or even like just like, how do we address the number of marginalized groups and not make them trends to care about them? What does even cherishing mean? When I not too long ago, to me, cherish everyone meant literally savior mentality. I had to learn the hard way that savior mentality was not the way that you're going to help anybody. That you're going
Right.
to try to pull up all these people that don't truly want help. And there's a way
Right.
that you can still cherish them, but like you
Yeah.
can't bring someone to either the level that you're at or above what they think they're capable of. So I just rambled a lot, but feel free
No, that was a
to
good.
with what y'all got.
Lois, you want to take this one first? You want me to?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. I think for one, I would look at any, yeah, and you named off a few good ones. I would look at any underrepresented, groups, things like that, and see what we can do to start uh getting them some representation and create a platform. Because like when it comes to cherishing people and caring about people and making sure that they're valued and all that good stuff, for one, you got to bring people together, because one person can help somebody, but at the same time, like bringing people together, like the power of community is so, like, it's so powerful.
Mhm.
So if we bring together a community who one person at a time gets a chance to be spotlighted, to where we just pour into this person to make sure that they got everything they need, or we pour into this person to make sure that anything that they don't understand is, that community. So like I said, military communities, like different, and not to go into that one either, but like frats, things like that, to where you have a community, you have a group of people who know that there's power in people and coming together. And I think that's how really highlight someone's value or help them improve their value. So I think I would look at, for one, any voices that aren't already, like, being maximized, and go from there. But if you're asking from like a lens of like me, you, and Kenny, I don't know what that looks like. But I think at the same
Yeah.
time, I think that's what needs to happen though. Is like, you if there's any platforms that are missing right now, or any groups that are underrepresented still, and there's like no progress or no motion there, that's a start, is to create them a platform. And you're gonna find some natural leaders in there who may even take it and run with it, and it's just like, you just need to give in, to make sure that, for one, somebody has to be the conglomerate piece to make sure that everyone's brought together and everyone's equally, carrying their weight, and also want something from it. But that's my 2 cents.
I got some pointed questions, so
Mm.
I'll go to Kenny next, and then I'll throw it back.
I think a lot of the same. I think a lot of the same lines, like is what I was about to say. Basically, is like, in my opinion, cherish everyone. Like, how do we bring up these marginalized groups? It's like there you have to, like, we have to bridge that misunderstanding, right? I think a lot of things stem from misunderstandings, and it's just like we as people have to be willing to like work to understand things that we don't.
Mm.
Right? We don't know what we don't know. So it's like I don't know much about, like if I don't like, I think hate all stems from misunderstandings. And so because a lot of hate, like in my personal experience, for like against, like when I've been marginalized as an Asian American man, uh it's a lot of times people they don't have any interactions with someone from my culture, my ethnicity. Like the most that they see is what they see in the media and everything. And so what I try to do is to bridge that gap is uh just start a conversation. I think I always have to approach it from uh you always want to approach it from a place of kindness, in my opinion, right? Because in my head, like, I tell myself it's true or not, I don't know, but they just don't understand. They just don't know. And so, like, for me, it's like using food. Like, I try to share like my culture's food as like a way to bridge the gap of like, hey, let's have a conversation.
Mm.
Food is something we all can enjoy. So like for me, it's like finding common ground and then just understanding everyone. So I think for me, like, I think it's a start on how to cherish everyone, is just to be able to understand people that are different from you, um and then lead to what you were saying, Lowe's, like give marginalized groups more of a platform, get them, because I think if you find great leaders in these groups, and if you give them a platform, like their voice needs to be heard. And I think if it can be heard and get out to more people, then I think that makes a huge difference.
Do
But
you, Kenny? I will start with you. Do you think that you can cherish everyone? And cherish is like not to treat them as your child and take care of them, but to hold them in a high regard. And the pointed question to you is, I'm sure that we have some mutual friends that may be hard to cherish sometimes.
I think no. So I think the answer is no. I think it's impossible to be able to cherish everyone.
Okay.
I don't think I think that's stretching yourself way too thin. But I think you can still go about trying your best, right? Like you don't, but like you can, I don't know, you can be like neutral on them, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
True.
it's like I think
Okay.
so sometimes I think that's the best that you can get with certain people is neutral is I think in that sense, me cherishing someone as an example, the best I can get for them is to be neutral on them. I don't think anything ill of them. I wish them well, and if they, like I can try to help or what I can, but sometimes I just think it's human nature. Like you're not like you can't please everyone, right? And I think you'll kill yourself if you try to.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I want to make sure that we draw the difference between like cherish, and like I said, and care for, or to
Mm-hmm.
take care of, or whatever. Like cherish is literally like, hey, I,
Like I
obviously I'm not
value, I appreciate you.
exactly, yeah,
Mhm.
like you do add value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a big part of cherishing. You
But
do matter.
I don't think some people like add value to my life. Like so I feel like some people are more of a drain.
It's not about add value to your life,
Right.
Yeah. It's like just in general.
just in general. Like for example, like look at a prisoner. Like according to your explanation, like every prisoner is worthless.
Fair. Okay.
And I don't think that's true.
I don't think that is either. So let me rephrase. Um I think if you truly want to cherish everyone, you try to see the best in everyone then.
Mm-hmm.
You try to see everyone's potential,
Right.
right? But it's hard because like what happens if you get to know someone like a close friend that you cherish and then you realize that they might not like they don't meet that like I think you can still try to like hold them in that high regard
Right.
and wish the best for them, but like
Yeah.
so maybe you can cherish them but you like
Yeah,
I
like
don't know,
set boundaries and
tough
stuff
one.
like that. And that's kind
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
like where I found myself is like, yeah, like I still do think that you add value for your friend. Your friend became your friend for a reason. So you did see
Exactly.
something in them. But yeah, like setting boundaries, I think is okay with still cherishing somebody.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Because Kenny, you spot on, man. Like honestly, we can't. We're it takes a village, so we can only extend ourselves so much. But I think there is a limit that we could cherish people on. It's just like beyond that, it's just face value pretty much. Where it's like, okay, I give everyone the time of day. I cherish
Hmm.
everyone. I respect everyone's opinion. I agree to disagree, things like that. To where you see somebody like you said, like I feel like this person is completely in the wrong. But at the same time, I know that they feel like they're right. So I will respect the fact that we are different,
Yeah,
even if
absolutely.
and not to be religious, but a simple phrase that was always spoke of in my household is they would just say pray for thee.
Hmm.
It's just like I understand that we have differences, and I may see your success in a different lens than you do, but I respect who you are. I value who you are, and I value the fact that you're going to learn and grow and make mistakes as you go.
Yeah,
So I think I would have a limit there to how much I cherish people, just because of it's so widespread and the love and caring about people, and it's so many. But just having a boundary to where you're not overextending yourself to
yeah,
pour too much into somebody who's not even got the light flipped on to be receiving, or you can't want for somebody more than they want for themselves. So,
that's fair. I think maybe I more my original answer is more associating cherishing with like adding like value to
and
life.
that's kind of, yeah, as we talked about it, I was in the same position as
Yeah.
we kicked it off. And then after your thoughts, that's what kind of made me think a little bit. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, after Leo questioned, I was like, so if I could rephrase my answer, I think how to cherish everyone is give everyone a chance, right? Try to see the best in everyone, give them a chance, be understanding. I think that's the biggest thing is
yeah,
that's my moral. Kind of like Willow said, like hear people out, like, try to understand where people are coming from. Be able to separate yourself from your views, your beliefs, to be objective and to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You try I think it all comes down to understanding.
Yeah. So I've been put in a couple situations where like I felt like I was forced to cherish people. Like innately,
Interesting.
I have a saver's mentality, like to
Mm-hmm.
my core, and I had to learn that that was bad. I had to learn that I'm gonna extend myself too far. Like I'm gonna try to do too much for people who don't even want my help. So like that's very much so different. Like for example, homelessness was a big thing that I started off P.E.A.C.E with. And I had to realize that I can't save every homeless person. And even if I was successful, there are some of those homeless people that are going to end up homeless again. And that's not, bad of me to attempt it, but I had to be smart in knowing like, all right, my energy could be better spent helping the homeless people eat and then helping someone else create a job opportunity for themselves. Doing everything for somebody who's going to try to turn back.
Yeah.
Anyway, like Los, what I wanted to ask you about is like the military. Like, if we're being straight up, the military forces us to pretty much cherish everyone.
Man.
Like a
absolutely.
deployment, you can switch people out if you're doing a job or something like that. But for the most part, you're stuck with who you're stuck with, and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
This isn't a job where someone's like, "Hey, don't worry, they're slacking off today, and we'll figure it out without them." Like even if you go as small as your unit, you can't kick someone out of your unit unless the law prohibits, the law allows it. So
that's
how
a
can
great
you,
take.
That's a really good
let's just
one.
go as a leader. Let's just take the personal side out of it. As a leader, how do you? Because I mean, I know you. I know a lot of people in the military do disrespect other soldiers, but like that's not your MO at all. So how do you, as a leader, like show that you cherish everyone, or even have the mindset of like, dang, I got to deal with this kid again, and I know he doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, and to begin with, what you said is spot on. Like it's not easy to kick somebody out of the military, and I'm not saying that's immediately what you think about, but for one, I always like to start at ground level. We start off with a counseling, and a counseling is just a paper that you document a conversation that y'all had, and they can look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. But in that initial counseling that I have with like my soldiers, I'm giving you the time of day to explain to me who you are. Explain to me what makes you tick, explain to me what you can't stand. And, I want you to understand that, like, I'm going to be the most genuine leader that I could possibly be. I've had some counseling sometimes to where soldiers are looking at me like, just give me the piece of paper, man, I'll sign it, but I'm like, no, I really want to know, like, who are you? Who is Leo? Who is Kenny? Tell me what you enjoy doing best, and it from there, you establish, not always, but you establish, a great relationship to where, like, what, this is a conversation I've never had before. This is somebody who really cares about me. And from there, you get like some really, really solid relationships with your soldiers because, they may have family members that haven't even viewed them from this lens before, and I get bashed about it all the time, man, all the time. Honestly, there's some leaders who just like, hey, man, leave him alone, man. Leave him be. Dead in the dirt. That's a dead flower over there, man. We already tried talking to him. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm gonna give him the exact same, from start to finish. I'm gonna make sure that he understands who I am and what I intend to do. And I want to know who he wants to. I like to challenge people, and I think it's funny to me how, like, sometimes I always see it every now and then. I get that one soldier who's like, what is this about anyway, man? They don't know how to recognize genuine leadership. They don't know how to recognize somebody who's giving them the time of day. They're so used to pencil whipping counseling statements. They're so used to, leaders giving them tasks, but not actually leading them. So I like to be the opposite, and I don't know where it came from, man. I can't say honestly that it came from, the way that I was raised. I don't know where it came from, but I just know that I value it when I see it, I guess. So yeah, I definitely give everybody the time of day, and even on your way out, even if you decided somewhere along the way, this ain't what I want to do, it's still been like, it's the interesting thing to me is like, there's still respect and, care and, a solid relationship there, even on their way out. Like,
yeah,
Sarge, it's nothing you did. I appreciate you, checking up on me. You called me, when nobody else did. You heard I was out of a job. You checked up on me. Yeah. My family didn't even check up on me. It's like, look, man, while you're under my wing, I'm not saying I'm the most successful person in the world. You might be more successful than me, but at the same time, I have responsibilities and you're one of them. So I want to do everything that I can for you, while you're with me. And then even beyond, I got people who've gotten out who I talk to on a regular basis. Leo out now, you know what I mean? With people that I talk to on a regular basis because of just a relationship that we built from genuine leadership or genuine experiences with each other. This is not a lot of it. A lot of, especially working with active duty folks, man, you can tell when someone's been like, they've been through toxic leadership, and I've been through it. So I just make sure I do the best that I can to be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I don't like yelling either, by the way, man. I hate yelling. I hate yelling at people, man. So if I got to,
it doesn't get anywhere.
yeah, no, not at all, man. But I never had to while we were overseas. Like people, issues would make it to me, and they really come to me like, "Hey, Sarge, man, can I talk to you? Look, I messed up. I already know what you're gonna say. Really apologize." And I can't ask them for that. You can't put that in a counseling. You can't put authenticity in a counseling. You know what I'm saying? So like, genuine relationships, man. And I'm glad that I give people the time of day and cherish everyone, because it's only, fostered like great leadership with, or a great relationship between myself and other soldiers. So like, sometimes I may, to your point, like I may overextend myself for somebody who don't want X, Y, and Z for themselves. But like at the end of the day, I know my intentions are pure, so I don't lose no sleep over it. I just pray for thee.
I think it pays off. Like you said, like that's something that like, and I think that the natural human need is to care for other people too. Even like the grouchiest person, like they do a good deed for somebody, they're gonna feel good. So like you said, building relationships, like that's like the biggest plus ever, for you to care for somebody who either has all the care in the world for, from their family, or this is the only time that they have received love. Either way it goes, like it's only positive. I don't see what negative can come of it. So
I think maybe going back to your question, Leo, I think maybe you can cherish everyone, but not everyone wants to be cherished by you or is ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's out of your control, but
yeah. But like, I think as like everyone can put the effort to cherish everyone, but I don't think it's like, it can be one-sided, it can be two-sided, right? Like, but I think it's also on us to recognize if like we can only go so far.
Correct. Yeah. So who do you think is like we've all been a part of like marginalized groups? If you can give me one of these, who do you think is like the hardest type of person to cherish, and how you're gonna work on it or whatever, or make it easy for you? Who is the easiest person for you to cherish? And I ask this because like everybody else now, you're like, yo, this is the hardest person to cherish. Like I need to get better in my patience, whatever. Or the easiest person to cherish, and maybe we can like, strive to be more like that. I don't know if either one of those questions makes sense, but
yeah, it makes sense to me. I'll take a stab at it. I'll go with the hardest. And if you want to swap, Kenny, we can, or we can both. But I think the hardest person for me to cherish, and again, I do the best I can to still cherish them, but the hardest person for me is the person who doesn't see their potential. So like the person who undervalues themselves, and then also don't mark me as insensitive on this, but a football coach said it one time a long time ago, but the person who's stuck feeling sorry for themselves, that's the hardest person for me to cherish, because they have a stronger voice than mine, and their voice is just taking off and telling them what they can and can't do. So I can tell you everything under the sun, but like, if your voice is louder than mine, it'll never penetrate. So I think that's been hardest for me. I still all day, like as soon as I said that, I thought of like 10 people, man. But I still do everything I can to cherish them and be there for them the best that I can. I definitely value them all day long, but it 100% is most difficult for me.
That's good.
That was a good answer.
Taking notes, yeah.
I think for me, on the flip of that, like the easiest people for me to cherish are the people who are the opposite of that. The ones who are more self-aware, more introspective, the ones who can look at themselves and like can ask themselves the tough questions. Because I find that those people are kind of like, they're similar to us. Like you want to grow. You take everything as a learning opportunity, right? like, and more open-minded, more like able to have dialogues and conversations. Like I feel like these people are like if you're not, I don't know how to say it, like if you're not so ingrained and stuck in like
Yeah.
in the way of your way of thinking,
Yeah.
then
Willing to
I
let
think
you
those are
in.
the easiest. Yeah,
Yeah.
people, yeah, exactly. They're willing to let me in and
Yeah.
willing to have tough talks and willing to like just yeah, have conversations about things that
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. The hardest person to cherish. I think you almost said it like, the person who doesn't love themselves. Is that what you said, Los? Yeah, like that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
yeah.
like that hits home. I definitely agree with that. So I'm assuming, I always like to get practical. Like I'm assuming that there's got to be a ratio on the energy that we give in order to be able to accomplish this. If we meet 100 people every single day, we're like, all right, we're going to cherish every single one of these people. Is it like hey, we put 80% of our effort or 60% into the people who are willing to listen, who are self-aware, who do love themselves? Do we put more energy into those people? Or do we put more energy into the people who are struggling because it's going to take more effort for them to get on the other side? And this is a
Mm.
legitimate question, something I need to figure out within myself.
Yeah. Wow.
I think everyone has a different my approach for this is like I try to approach everyone the exact same.
Okay.
Hmm.
100 like I try to give everyone my genuine just me and my genuine attention and effort. But for me like I for some people it's really obvious if I've hit a wall and then it's just like okay like at that point I have to take a step back and like maybe that person's not ready to be receptive. But I try to approach everyone the same.
Yeah.
That's probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a smart thing to do because when you ask for a ratio, you
I've
almost
already
feel the
set
need.
myself up for failure.
Yeah, you feel the need to give numbers and percentages, but if
um,
we had to, I would I would I would flee towards 50-50. But if worst case scenario though, and where I'm at these days, like mentally and things like that, I think if I had to choose a side, I would be more towards the side that is willing to do things and let you in.
Yeah.
And the reason that I say that is because where I'm at right now is a very slippery slope. So again, um, if the voice in your head becomes louder, and it is, the voice in your head is louder than any other voice you'll hear. So after every conversation with those who are stuck feeling sorry for themselves and things like that, it may start to take a toll on you. So I would almost be worried that I may lose my own. I wouldn't want to.
mm,
That's me personally and where I'm at these days. I don't want to knock myself off of the ball trying to cherish everyone and aiming to be more towards reviving people that are all those things that we
Yeah.
talked about.
And I think this goes back to what you guys were saying about boundaries. Like I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
cherish everyone to the point where it's like
yeah.
but I think cherishing someone is but boundaries is like part of it. As
Mhm.
long as you let them know like, hey, I'm here for you
Yeah.
if when you're ready. But at a certain point, as soon as it becomes draining on you and it's taking away from your energy, your livelihood, like you have to realize you have to put up with some sort of separator.
So the ratio is I can only give a little bit less than what my cup is being filled at. So unfortunately, if you're not filling up my cup, I probably won't see you as much. I can
Mm-hmm.
cherish, you Golightly, you Kenny, because I know that you're filling up my cup. And I can probably either give the same amount or more because you're going to put it back in. But I can't see somebody who's draining my cup, putting a hole in my cup. I can't see you as often because I'm not even going to have anything to give you.
Yeah.
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 And then it's taken away from yourself. So how can you pursue excellence if you have nothing left to give?
Facts.
Right.
Facts. Yeah.
That's the scary part, and that's the
Ooh.
that's the slippery slope to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I
have
think it's tough.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. I think it's tough. Yeah.
I got one little realization. I think I was talking to a friend and I'm sorry, we're already over, but um I had a realization that social media has made us seem closer than we actually are. So for
Oh,
example,
facts.
we all probably have friends or family that watch what you post on social media. And it's like, oh yeah, you're doing so well. Congratulations. Oh, where you at this time? And it's like, why haven't we talked?
Yeah. Yeah. For
I
real.
see you following my post, I guess, now for the past year, or you know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing with my job, but we haven't said a word to each other in like 12 months. Why
Yeah.
is this a thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you brought up Kenny earlier in the beginning, like the world that we live in kind of does this to us, but like social media was meant to bring us together. And I
But
think
it's such a
it keeps like a little string of us together, but the deep connections aren't there.
Yeah.
Hitting the like
yeah.
button is me like, oh yeah, like that's my friend.
I think it depends. I think for the most part it's negative. I agree.
Okay.
Like, but because I think yeah, you're right. It gives like the facade that you're close because you can keep up with what they're doing. You can like them. But like for me, if I see something uh on a friend's post and like I'm interested in it or something, like I'll reach out to them and I'll text them and engage with them. And then talk about it. It's like I can just, but so many times, yeah, I'll see someone post something, I'll like it, and I'll never have any interaction with them, right? But I think it's the ones who you do interact with. Like you'll post something on a story occasionally, and I'll message you
Yeah,
or
yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I agree. I think it gives us this whole like facade of oh, like I'm keeping up with what Leo's doing. I don't have to text him. Like I know what he's up to.
Right.
Yeah,
Woo,
yeah.
man. There's so many of those relationships that I have too, though, man.
Hmm.
It's just like, I think I call it like a top of mind relationship.
Yeah.
Our relationship only exists, when you're top. You pop up on my
Yeah.
notifications. Oh, what's up, man? Long time no see. You think about like, oh man, I've been through so much in between this time to this time, and like, we only see each other ever so often. So it's just like a top of mind type of relationship.
Top
Oh,
of
hey,
mind
checking up on you.
relationship.
Hey, congratulations. Promotion. Hey, I saw you went through, a hardship. Praying for you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's super powerful, and I think it was something that I don't know if we were necessarily ready for,
Uh,
Mm.
but yeah,
but the question is like those top of mind relationships, like the ones that it could be like here and there, they could be fickle in a sense, but like do those still matter as much as the other relationships that you have, people who are more constants in your life?
mm.
It
I
depends
think
how
I
you're
would
feeling.
question like if do I need to bring them in more,
Right.
because
Yeah.
if it's somebody that I genuinely care about, I think there definitely needs to be more of a real relationship because especially we ain't gonna get into the metaverse, man, but you know what I mean? It's just being easier to be further apart now,
Yeah.
you know, mentally, physically, location wise, so like I think genuine time together, spending like actually enjoying things, actually experiencing stuff like that is most important. So I would kind of question what I could do or if I should, work on bringing them in to be more interactive and actually, engaging with them, seeing them, talking to them, visiting stuff like that because we ain't here forever.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many times where people say, I wish I would have focused more on relationships, and I wish I would have came to see somebody passes away. Oh man, I wish I would have went to go see them. I wish we would have sat down and they could have talked to me. But that face value and that top of mind type of relationship doesn't really tell me that I can talk to you. It tells me we only talk when something happens, something good. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So I
yeah.
would I would challenge myself to say whether or not I should bring them in and do something to mend that and enhance that relationship.
Like that. I think we're gonna end on that. You guys got anything you want to pop up as a question, get off your chest? Things you're working on currently?
I don't know about you, Kenny. I got one though, and I can't sit down about it, man.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, so this past Saturday, man, passed my Salesforce platform app builder exam finally, man.
Yeah, that's a huge.
Myself a round of applause. Hey man,
Yeah, round of applause
Leo
for Leo.
knows how much I've been studying for it. I didn't bag it on the first time, so I think that gave me more of a success story. But finally got it knocked out, man. So on to the next one. I'm just pursuing excellence. Pursuing
Hey,
excellence.
love to hear it. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah,
Congrats,
huge
congrats. Hey,
congrats.
keep the good news coming.
yeah, man.
Keep the
Likewise,
news
everybody
coming.
else too, man. Y'all just quiet, man. I gotta keep up with y'all, man. Kenny over here, I gotta keep up with y'all. Matthew's moving silence too, man. I'm gonna have to start picking y'all brain a little more.
100%. Yeah, love to move in silence. Sooner or later it'll come out.
Yeah, man. Matthew pop up like, oh man, I just moved to Turks and Caicos, man. Business has been going real well. Like, when did you position yourself for this?
Love the adventure. Some people call me erratic.
Erratic.
Yeah.
I just call you Neo.
Or Neo.
Neo, yeah.
Living in the Matrix. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah. What was he saying? Rock or Rock. Call him Rock. Yeah.
Right.
Come on, Rock. Come on, Rock.
Hey,
I can't let that die, man.
Made it happen. I could not believe. Out of all the things that could have gone wrong, nothing went wrong in the whole thing.
Hey, man. Shout out to that dude, man.
Yeah,
Shout out
that's good.
to that dude.
OG held it down.
Yeah.
Kenny, you got anything?
Not much, but hopefully got something in the works coming up soon. So stay posted.
Cool. Yeah, well, I appreciate y'all hopping on today. If you're listening, then go ahead and do whatever you do whenever you like a podcast. If you made it this far, shout out to you. Yeah, tell them where to follow you on IG, Twitter, LinkedIn. If y'all got any of those social handles, I'll follow it up and close it out.
Yeah, you want to kick it off, Kenny?
I think I'm just Kendrick Lo on LinkedIn. I don't want my socials out there, so I'm more of a private guy.
Follow Kenny at the P.E.A.C.E podcast.
There you go. Kenny at the P.E.A.C.E podcast.
There we go.
Mango.
Yeah, man. Not really active on Instagram these days, man, but I will say that I'm more than willing to help anybody out or connect with anybody on LinkedIn as far as any transitions, anything like that. And you can find me on LinkedIn at Karlos Golightly. That is my LinkedIn name on there. Spelled exactly how it sounds. Golden Lightly. First name starts with a K. Let me know, how you found me. So I know it's not just random, maybe ain't no BDRs or nothing trying to, generate a pipeline or nothing like that. But yeah, I'm more than happy to connect with you. Hey.
You gotta call him out. Hey, that was me one day. Hey, keep strong, BDRs, SDRs.
Keep strong, BDR, for sure, man. I give them the time of day. I just got to I just got to know how to walk into the situation.
Amen.
And then, lastly, follow the P.E.A.C.E podcast on YouTube, Instagram. You can follow it at the Peace Movement pretty much everywhere. I am personally Leonard's Lens everywhere you'll find me, Twitter, Instagram, and then Leonard Mathews everywhere else. So appreciate y'all tuning in. And like we always say, pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Peace. Yo, thank you for tuning into the P.E.A.C.E podcast. This podcast actually started off with 4 friends sitting around a table once a week. We were having conversations to educate ourselves about the world around us, talking about what we're dealing with day to day as regular people, and simply to self-reflect. So that's all that you're seeing us do here, and you're getting to see it live. So I challenge you to do the same thing. If you've made it this far, obviously something caught your attention. So get a group of friends and build a small community and start to join in the conversation. Like, these are tough conversations. These are fun conversations, but these are conversations that are needed to be had. In fact, I want to make it easy for you. If you're listening to this podcast at home, invite a friend over. Or maybe invite 2 friends over, 3 friends over, whatever it is. Turn your TV on, your computer, your phone, wherever you want to watch it, turn the podcast on, okay? And join in the conversation. If you're listening to this maybe on a run, at the gym, I get it. I do the exact same thing. But maybe you can share the link, clip the file or something like that, and just pose one of the questions that you heard here today. The point is to build community and to self-reflect. Oftentimes, we don't vocalize the things that we need to work on, and that's one small way that I think that we can, help improve ourselves, improve others, and most importantly, pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you again next week. Peace.